This project, in terms of directing something that was self-shot, was going to be really, really different from anything that I've made before. And I think directing 9 teenagers across the country remotely for over a year was definitely probably one of the most ambitious journeys I've ever gone on as a director. Unerased is a 17-part online documentary series made vertically for Instagram and TikTok. And it follows 9 different transgender teenagers from all across Australia who have documented their school lives over the course of 1 year, just using their phones and cameras as they navigate high school and gender identity to figure out who they are.
Someone basically said to me, "Oh, you're non-binary? Oh, you don't look it." There's this perception, especially online, that all non-binary people are skinny, they've got short hair, they've got dyed hair, and I absolutely hate these stereotypes.
I really wanted to make Unerased, and the concept for Unerased came honestly from a point of frustration. For the last couple of years, anytime that I go on any article or any interview about transgender high school students, it's quite ironic and frustrating to see that a conversation all about them doesn't include them at all. So I really wanted to make Unerased to not only create a series that centered trans young people, but also physically gave the platform back to them to tell their stories to the world and to kind of give the microphone back to, I guess, a voiceless community in some regards. Yeah. When me and Rob Innes, who was the producer of this project, first kind of thought about casting young people inside an online series, we kind of put a call out to people in our community to see if any young people would be interested in being a part of something like this. And I went to bed that night, and the next morning I woke up and we had almost 100 applications from kids all across Australia wanting to take part in it. So finding the young people who actually wanted to share their stories was relatively easy. I think it's all fair to say that trans young people have been silenced for quite some time, and they're kind of hungry not only for the content, but to be really involved in telling their own stories. And then, as you can imagine, trying to narrow down from 100 to 9 was quite difficult. And thankfully, we found 9 amazing, intelligent young people who, I guess, had a story to tell within that year of 2022.
It's 5:30 and I'm in a show right now. I'm gonna go home, change after this program and go to shul yet again, but this one's a bit awkward because I'm going to an Orthodox shul because that's where my grandma goes and it is split by genders. I don't really know what's going to happen. Worst comes to worst, I just sit at the very back and hope no one notices me because I do not want to sit in the male section because that will be triggering.
I think the reaction was something that we were kind of always interested to see. It's actually been unbelievably positive. You know, the sort of comments that we're getting on these videos of young people saying that they wish that they had this in high school, having parents commenting on it, saying that, you know, they're going to have conversations differently with their children, is the most, you know, that sometimes beats the viral views. You know, that sort of impact and that sort of change is amazing. So we've just had kind of inundated with all these positive comments of people saying that it's helped them feel less alone in the world. Knowing that every trans kid in Australia now has 9 new friends on the internet that they could turn to was the intention of this series. So it was really amazing to kind of, I guess, prepare and hold the cast hands for anything that may happen, but to kind of flip it and be well, anything that we've actually got has been wholly positive, has made me feel really hopeful about the future, actually. Yeah.
I'm almost a year on testosterone. That's awesome. That's something that, you know, I've always wanted to do. It's been really cool and just the most gender affirming experience of my life.
So I think the most surprising revelation for me was actually around the sort of participation versus collaboration side of making documentary. I think that the nature of documentary is changing, and I think our participants or our subjects are actually becoming our teammates and are becoming, you know, more and more behind the camera. And I think that process should be embraced. And I think when we talk about making stories that are, you know, collaborator and youth-led, but also authentic and give people a chance to feel ownership over their own stories, I think this series has brought to my attention that if you just open up a little space and you share that with other people, you're going to get better results, and people are going to feel more empowered to share their story. The impact that this series has made on me has been almost like indescribable. I mean, as a young trans person myself, the way that I always pitch this series was this is exactly what I needed when I was going through high school. I never experienced my transness as a teenager because I was closeted and I was too scared to come out. But this series has been probably one of the most personal healing experiences of my life. To be able to give the voice back to 9 young trans people has almost been able to give the voice back to little 16-year-old me. And I hope that whether, you're trans, cis, queer, straight, I hope that all young people can see themselves in this project and can feel empowered to be the best and most authentic versions of themselves, regardless of what other people say. So, yeah.